Hey guys, just a reminder, this is not official medical advice. For such, please seek an appointment with a licensed medical provider. Keep it simple. Bo,
Hey,
what's
that's who
going
I
on?
am. I like to keep things simple because I'm a simple kind of
Hey, we're
guy.
keeping it simple each and every week. Bo McGregor here. He's in our Performance Medicine of North Knoxville office as we speak, in between patients. Bo, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Had a good weekend. Vols won.
You're,
I saw where we got some hate on ESPN though.
did
I
we
didn't
really?
see the actual interview. I saw the stuff on social media. Desmond Howard and Kirk Herbstreit kind of gave him a little heat, saying
About?
we look like the big bullies on the block against nobodies, but when we face some people, we cower.
I mean, I get it. I hope.
I didn't see it, so I don't know if it's true or somebody's just trying to get some clickbait on there. But I was like, well, it's kind of true. We do look like world beaters against nobodies,
I
and then
know.
when we play somebody, we kind of don't know what we're doing.
Well, as we record this, it's Florida week, which is a big week for Tennessee fans. Uh, we'll see kind of what happens on Saturday.
It's going to be tough to get over the hump because I can't remember when we beat them down there
Yeah,
last, and they looked pretty good against Ole Miss.
they did. They did. They looked really good. They
And Ole
played Ole
Miss is a
Miss.
good team.
Yep. Ole Miss is a playoff team. We'll see. We'll see how we do. With this playoff format, it's, we've worked ourselves out of the playoff picture, and um, it's tough to kind of stay really into it as a fan, but also, being in Tennessee, being a Tennessee fan forever, the Florida game just matters. It'll matter when we're 0-8 or 10-0, or this week just matters a lot.
Yeah,
What
it
do you
does.
think?
And it's different because we're playing at the end of the season. We haven't done that in years. We haven't done that since 2001 because it was the 9/11 game
That's right.
when it got canceled and it got moved at the end of the year and Travis Stevens ran all over
That's right. That's right.
them.
Oddly enough, on X, I saw a picture of Travis Stevens at the game this past weekend, which was, I haven't seen him in forever. Shout out to Travis Stevens. He was awesome. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
awesome.
And he was kind of like the hidden guy when you had Jamal Lewis and
Yeah.
Travis Henry. And
Yeah.
then once those two guys were out of the picture, he became the guy. So,
Well, enough of our Tennessee fandom talk. We've got people here who want to keep it simple with their health. And before we started recording, and in fact, you texted me last week with this idea, and it was around labs and supplements. And we know that a lot of people, going to the doctor is not a normal thing, and they might not know where to start or what to ask for, what labs they need to get, what the questions they need to ask their provider. Kind of, start us down that journey, Bo. What's the keep it simple version of starting to go to the doctor?
eh, I mean, it's hard, I think, because, we us in kind of a medical
Yeah,
scenario, we
yeah,
we've learned this stuff throughout the years. We understand, we know how to interpret things, we know what to order, what not to, what's important, what's kind of like, yeah, that's important, but what's the big picture? And as just a regular everyday Joe, like um 40, 50, 30, whatever it is. And I'm going to say Joe because women typically go to the doctor.
yeah.
They go see their OBGYN at least, or they're kind of in tune with their family physician. They go there. They probably have gotten some type of standard blood work a lot earlier than most men have.
Right.
But that's not to say that what we talk about here doesn't apply to women as well. If you haven't and you don't know what to ask for, you don't know what to order. And I've done some like quick little snidbits on some of this stuff before, just like kind of 1 to 2 minute things online. But yeah, kind of just not to get into the weeds about everything, but just like how do you start? How do you like your spouse, maybe you need to go to the doctor, you
Yep.
need to go see somebody, you need to get your labs checked, because we all hit some points in life where things may start to break down, or like our bodies can't overcome the damage that we've done to them all these years, because now we are getting to an age where things are changing.
Yep.
Things are different. I'm holding on to a little bit more weight around my gut. Where did this come from? The kind of like stuff like that, or like, hey, I can't work out like I used to, or, I'm real tired all the time. Any of these things kind of, or you're not remembering things and your spouse is like, you probably need to go to the doctor. And you're looking at them like, what for? And this is just kind of like a set scenario of like, hey, what should I have done? And some of them are going to be a little bit different than what the standard labs will be. And it's just, as a provider, I think from our side, having those labs in front of us the first time we see a patient isn't necessary. No, but it's very helpful to like start a discussion.
Right.
And it can lead us down certain avenues or pathways of like, how do we get this person on the right step?
Yep.
Okay. It's not going to be a giant leap at the beginning. It's just a step in the right direction. There may be many steps, but we're going to start with one,
Well,
right?
and one thing I'll add, I hear you, Robin, Dr. Rogers, Andy, talk a lot about is, as providers, you're also looking at symptoms. So like, I think, a great step is what you just said. Take note of what your symptoms are. I'm feeling tired. I've got belly fat. Whatever the symptoms may be, pay attention to those and bring those in with labs as a best case scenario. But I know you guys look at symptoms as much as labs.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I kind of want to get into a little bit here is like, I don't when we're looking at labs, I don't think anybody should be defined by a number.
Yeah, yeah,
It's and that's why I'm going to go through like a set of labs, because if you get a set of labs, and I tell my patients all the time, it's kind of like just reading the tea leaves a little bit. Like this number's a little off ish, but what does that all this other stuff look like?
yeah,
If all this other stuff looks okay and this is off, then what does that mean? And where does that take us? So like again, kind of read the tea leaves, symptoms, visualizing the person, examining them. I mean, you can tell a lot. And you can also tell as a provider what these people are telling me, labs I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing don't match.
yeah,
So, like I've said this before, people come in all the time. Well, kind of three things. Or probably more than that. I'm fairly healthy, is what a lot of patients say. I eat pretty good. I eat clean, or I do okay. It's like, and that's a numerous amount of meanings to everybody. I mean, or I exercise some. Oh,
yeah.
what does any of that mean? I don't know. So it's kind of like you have to get to know the patient. You have to end up having like a little bit of a personal relationship with them, and kind of really try to get them down the right pathway. So, and that's kind of like reading the tea leaves. It's like
Yes.
encompassing all that together. And there are some people that come in here that you get your little spidey sense going. You're like, something's off. Something's off. And we need to check some things. And sure enough, things will be right. And you're like, oh, okay, we've got to start moving in this other direction here. So anyway, things can go a lot of different ways. So basic labs. It's going to be pretty simple. But I'll explain some of it, like a CBC, regular layperson. What's a CBC? Like that doesn't
Yep.
mean anything to them. Complete blood count. And what that means is it's telling you white blood cells are like your kind of immune system, kind of a cleanup system. Like, what does it look like? It can kind of show some signs. Are you inflamed? It shows our red blood cells, how, like your oxygen carrying capacity. Are you anemic? Like, people don't know what anemia means. It means your red blood cells are down. So it could be weak, fatigue, things like that. And then why? Then we have to figure out why. Also shows your platelets. platelet counts is platelets kind of help with blood clotting. Like you cut yourself on your arm, cut yourself shaving, which I haven't done in a while, but it kind of helps to clot that blood up. So that's what those kind of things mean. I had a older provider when I was in training a long time ago said platelets are the poor man's inflammatory marker. So you didn't have to order something. It would like spike something like, huh, they've got something going on here.
Yeah.
What does that mean? But anyway, that's beside the point, not keeping it real simple. But just the standard blood work, CBC, what does that look like? Are you anemic? Is everything working appropriately? Does everything matching up? It also can kind of go into some breakdowns of stuff. I'm not going to go into that, but that's just standard. Everybody's going to order that. Regular doctor's going to order that. Everybody's going to order that. And then you got a comprehensive panel. It's a CMP, which basically shows how good is your kidneys working? Are they doing what they're supposed to do? What does your electrolytes look like? Potassium, sodium, chloride. Is everything kind of going through the right processes? And as again goes along with your kidneys, also shows some standard like liver function. Is your liver doing okay? And that's kind of, and that's a good quick snapshot of how does that look? And that can lead us down other pathways. Again, a little bit from here, a little bit from here. Where is that leading us to as far as reading the tea leaves, and what does the patient look like? Then getting a lipid panel, right? Looking at cholesterol. That's the big topics of what is bad cholesterol, good cholesterol, what are numbers supposed to be? And we've talked about that enormously on a lot of these podcasts. And again, I like it to more or less look at, again, the tea leaves. Metabolic health is what I'm looking for on that. I've said it before, it's like sometimes I don't care as much about total or what these other numbers may be. And it's kind of like, does it go along with what I've already seen? And where do we have opportunities to improve on? And then,
Can you, when you say you're looking at metabolic health, is there a set of numbers that encompasses, or because I hear you, Robin, Dr. Rogers, talk about metabolic health and how it's kind of the gist of it. Is there a way to like check my metabolism?
yeah, well, it's not really metabolism.
Okay.
People think my metabolism's slowing down. No, not really. It's just you're not doing the correct things.
Okay.
And metabolic health is kind of like we hear about mitochondrial health, our cellular health, like how is our body functioning? And if we're not functioning well, then that's you're not metabolically healthy. Metabolic disease is type 2 diabetes. That's metabolic disease.
Okay.
Some people say if you have kidney disease, that's metabolic disease.
Okay.
Because it's all kind of stemming from a certain scenario. Like I think I may have even said before, I can't remember, like we eat to be lean and metabolically healthy. We work out to be strong and metabolically healthy. So our nutrition plays a big part in this. And because like that's a lot of some of our passions is food's not just preventative, it's treatment. And so and I'll get into some of that metabolic stuff with the lipids as we kind of go through here, because a couple of these other things I want to just spend a little bit of time on can be very helpful in leading down these roads.
Okay.
And a lot of them, going back, our comprehensive panel also includes a fasting glucose. You want all these labs done fasting. And then you've got this hemoglobin A1C, which a lot of people have heard. Some people don't know what it means. They said it checks me for my blood sugar. And so it depends on who the person is. Because there's a lot of people now that have done a carnivore diet that have high A1Cs, but they don't have diabetes. They have basically what they have is kind of red blood cells. Hemoglobin is a red blood cell, like we talked about in the CBC. These are oxygen carrying cells, blood cells. And if and the A1C is measured over 3 months, I believe. It's kind of give you an estimated blood glucose. Well, if you have robust red blood cells supported with a lot of vitamins, which a lot of carnivores have very good vitamins, your red blood cells live longer, so they have more of an ability to catch sugar, raising your hemoglobin A1C
Okay.
because they live longer. They're more robust. They're more vibrant. They just live longer, so they have more ability to get what they not so simple glycated is the term, is be hit with sugar basically. So that's why that raises up. So that's a little bit of a misnomer. If you're eating tons and tons and tons of protein and very, very, very low carb, doesn't mean you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. It means possibly you have robust red blood cells that are catching some sugars here and there. That's why I said tea leaves, right? So you've got to look at some other labs to like reconfirm things. So fasting insulin is something that pretty much, I would say, a normal primary care family physician won't order, but it tells us a lot of the story. Fasting insulin is a key, and if we started looking at how to treat um, diabetes, not towards sugar but towards insulin, then we'd probably be well more better off than not. Because if you have a normal fasting insulin level and your A1C is high, what are we missing? Like something's off here. It should be higher. So it's, again, reading the tea leaves, and then of course we do an HSCRP on our Cleveland panel, and CRP is like an inflammatory marker, nondescript inflammatory marker. It shows that your body has inflammation, and inflammation is kind of a sign of any chronic disease. Any disease state is inflammation. Um, Anything that ends in itis is inflammation. Sinusitis, otitis, pharyngitis, pancreatitis. It's all inflammatory problems. So looking for inflammatory markers also kind of lets us look at the picture. So when you're looking at these labs, okay, somebody comes in, has got a cholesterol of 250. Medicine, you need medicine. No, let me look and see what's our HDL, good cholesterol, right? Plus or minus of what people, it's been deemed the good cholesterol, right? And we look at good cholesterol to triglyceride ratio, and that ratio right there. So if that ratio is really good, less than 2, less than 1.5, even better, it shows more metabolic health. And if our A1C is high, fasting insulin levels low, the person's pretty metabolically healthy. And then looking at our comprehensive panel, what does our fasting glucose say? What is our liver function telling us? It's kind of putting all the pieces together and saying, what does metabolic health look like? And that's why I said, kind of looking at the whole big picture, examining the patient, listening to symptoms,
Yep.
and then trying to relate those symptoms to something that you may be seeing on these lab panels. And that's why I said these labs in particular are a good snapshot of what's happening inside the body to say, where are my opportunities to improve? And I think if somebody comes in with certain types of symptoms and I'm reading labs and things are kind of matching up, leading us a certain way, I think unless they're in dire straits and they need medicine today. Also looking at vital signs, blood pressure, heart rate, things like that, what's going on there. Unless they're in dire need of something, everybody deserves a few months to get their kind of act together health wise if they're really serious about this, because they can improve a lot of these things with their symptoms, with their numbers, and then they come back in 3 months later like, hey, are you feeling better? What's going on? What do my numbers look like? Then it's like, well, maybe we need to add a little bit of medicine here. Maybe we need to kind of tweak this a little bit. Or, what were you really doing with your nutrition over the last several months? And where did you fall out of what we were supposed to be doing? And how do we kind of fix that if we can? Or if we can't, we just need to kind of go down a different road. I know I'm kind of all over the place here. It's not as simple as what it means, but those labs, are very kind of a big picture kind of labs. And instead of like trying to figure out every intricate detail of every possible lab to go, if you want to start with something, I think those are great ones to start with,
Now,
to show just kind of an overall health picture as far as labs go.
are those things that a patient is going to have to come into their provider and ask for, or is that what most providers will go ahead on just a kind of a basic visit? These are the labs they're most likely going to get, or
I,
what's the communication need to be like between the patient and provider?
I think, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody likes different things, different times. But general health, if they don't really, if they don't really come with any type of particular thing they're going to be seen for. If they call here, this is what I'm going to want.
Okay.
Somebody else may want something different.
Okay.
But if they have a specific complaint or they've heard from somebody, you know, hormones are always something that can get involved in overall health. Like they come in like, you know, really bad brain fog. I'm just feel fatigued. I'm tired all the time. Thyroid,
Yeah.
sex hormone kind of evaluation can be added on to these things. But if you know, but that's also something that can be done after the fact. And we've talked to the patient, and then they have X, Y, and Z symptom. It can lead us down another road to kind of like, well, you know, these numbers look okay. Some room to grow and get better. But, you know, since you're really steering to this other symptom, let's order some of these labs and let's see, which could include some micronutrients and things like that, like B12, vitamin D, things like that. And we're going to get into that because there's a lot of deficiencies in those things that we don't really think about, especially vitamin D. I think a lot of people are now starting to take notice of taking vitamin D supplements. A lot of like after COVID, that became a big thing with the general population,
Well,
just
well,
to help support immunity.
well let's talk about that, Bo. So, a lot of times when a patient comes in, they get these labs, they go over some of these symptoms that they may or may not be feeling. A lot of what comes out of that is vitamins and supplements. A lot of the patients that we see don't want to, jump straight onto a medicine, and that's not how we
Mm-hmm.
want to treat people.
Mm-hmm.
So vitamins and supplements kind of come out of this, like you said, with deficiencies. What's kind of the keep it simple version? What do they need to, I guess, consider adding to their regimen from, like, if they're wanting to get their metabolic health on track?
Well, I mean, and not just metabolic health. These are just things in
Okay.
general need, because you know, we don't need to eat more fruits and vegetables. We just need better fruits and vegetables because our food is depleted of a lot of the nutrients and things like that we used to get from our food. Now, like some of the most nutrient dense food there are animal proteins that I talk a lot about it, and I kind of believe in that. So you get a lot of those supplements from that. But in general, I think people should be taking like, and a lot of people take these things, but in general, I think if you're starting from scratch, nothing, and we get a lot of people in here is like, because they hear us talk about like biohacking and doing all these specific little niches that a lot of people try to do to try to optimize whatever they're looking for. But this is just a broad picture, broad scope of let's start here.
Yep. Yep.
Start here is a great methylated multivitamin. Um, Dr. Rogers' vitamin is full of everything, right?
Right.
It is really compact with everything that you would need. And we say methylated because there's a lot of cellular processes in our body that a lot of our bodies can't break down. Like if we have, and methylated is you'll have methylfolate as your B9 vitamin or just folate, instead of folic acid. A lot of people in our societies cannot break down folic acid. So, and if you just search methylated multivitamin, you're going to get a good vitamin. So, and it's gonna be in the form that your body can use and break down to get to all those cellular processes it needs to use to for overall cellular health, right? That's what we're looking for. Just being health, giving the body everything it needs to do to perform appropriately.
Right.
Um, and our multivitamins, vitamin A, C, a lot of them have D3 with K2 in them, K1 and 2. A lot of them have it, and that helps with absorption with the vitamin D. A lot of times it has a multitude of B vitamins and a lot of our micronutrients, calcium, magnesium, zinc. Some have iron, some have selenium, some have iodine, a little bit of thyroid health in there too. You can kind of get a little specific if you want to, but just a good methylated multivitamin will give your body a lot of what it needs,
Got it.
as far as from a starting point. And it's not going to be magic. And I'm like, woo, I feel great. It's not going to work that way. It's just kind of supplementation of the things that we don't get in our normal, typical nutritional diet that we did get 100 years ago from our garden that we grew in our backyard that we just don't have anymore, right? We're getting it from somewhere else. I wish we all still had that, but we don't. But and like I just mentioned, a supplement with vitamin D, vitamin D3 with K2. Like I said, it helps with absorption. Um, and I have seen people that are so deficient, they're like borderline rickets, right? Like they're so deficient, they're having problems with their body. And we can supplement them and they will come in feeling great. That is one thing that if you were that deficient, you're going to feel better just with that alone. Sunlight, yes, gives us vitamin D, but it's not harmful to supplement. It's harmful if we don't have enough. So vitamin D plays a huge role in lots of things, plays a role in our hormones, plays a role in our immune system. And I haven't checked mine in a while, but I I would love for mine to be almost as high as I can get
Right.
it. Just to help with overall health. And that's what this is about. So, and then you've got omega 3s, right? Fish oil. As Americans, we don't eat a lot of fish. Like some people do pretty well, but like
Not here in Tennessee.
I lived in Japan when I was in the military, and I had to do some security stuff at the base. Everybody from our squadron had to go do like their little routine security stuff and help out with the gates and stuff. And we had civilian contractors that did it too, like Japanese that lived there. Oh well, they might not be called Japanese, Okinawans that lived there. And you should see some of the stuff that they ate for breakfast. I mean, I was like, what in the world is that? And it would be some type of fish, something or other, right? But like us as a culture, we don't do that.
Right.
So we can always supplement with more um, omega 3s, fish oil. It's really good for just overall health, heart health, helps thin the blood a little bit.
Mm.
Keeps, and a lot of times that's a good thing. It's good for our brain. Our brain thrives on um, um, DHA, omega 3s. And also, you're trying to find a good balance between omega 3 and omega 6s. Omega 6s get a bad rap because leolinic acid, seed oils, blah, blah, blah. You hear all this. Yeah, we need a little bit of it, but it's about a good ratio. You need a little bit of that inflammatory process. So when it needs to inflame, it does, and we fight things. But, overall metabolic health, inflammation, joint pain, eyes, brain, mood. Omega 3s are great and fairly inexpensive.
Yeah.
And dosages wise, people are different. There's some different things out there. I always say just start out with one a day. It's usually 1 gram. I push it to 2. There's some things with 3 grams. Is it causing some heart arrhythmias? There's been some papers out there. It's like, I don't know about this. I don't see the mechanism of action happening there, but it's a thing. So I just do 2. Like I
Are you
said,
do it at the same time or separating?
I just take it a second. My gut handles it.
Okay.
So that's the other thing. It's like always start low
Yeah.
and go slow because some people's GI system can't tolerate a lot of things. Mine, I can just take stuff and it
Okay.
does well. But anyway, it's good. If you're having it's an anti-inflammatory So some joint pain, it can help with that as well. Like I said, it's another overall good, healthy supplement to take. Um, uh, and a lot of things we see at performance medicine is sleep issues. A lot of people have sleep issues. Um, so I always say, especially if you're having this is a great add-on to just kind of the basic stuff. Magnesium, magnesium glycinate, the magnesium citrate and oxide, they kind of fight different things, kind of more gut health support, if you're constipated, things like that. But glycinate seems to really help people sleep. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, and a lot of things are helped with magnesium supplementation if it's absorbed well. Heart health wise, or rhythm wise. Again, our foods are just depleted of a lot of micronutrients, so having a little extra magnesium is fine. Kidneys are working; it's going to take care of it if you're overdoing it. But that's like the add on to that. And then the next thing I'm pushing, I think I think Robin did a podcast about this next thing. Creatine,
Oh
didn't she
yeah,
just do one not too
yeah,
long ago?
she did.
Like that's the next edition.
Yeah.
That's the next thing that needs to be in everybody's cupboard as
Are
far
you
as what
taking
you're
that every day?
taking. Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't I haven't taught, I haven't noticed a huge difference, but I just feel like everything that we're seeing, everything we're reading, muscle health wise, I don't, I tell everybody just start with the 5 grams. We've talked about it, I think, a little bit. You can even split that up if you're having GI issues, and do that for about 3 weeks. 3 weeks is supposed to really get into all the muscles, kind of saturate the muscles for 3 weeks, and then try to push it to 10 grams a day. The 2 scoops. It's supposed to be really helpful for brain health, and that's the big thing. That's what, especially if you're looking at somebody coming to the doctor, middle age, like. Man, my wife told me I needed to come to the doctor. I said I got problems, well, which we all do. But that's the other thing. It's like, hey, this is something that needs to be starting to be added to the system. We do produce it. I think a regular size steak or something like that has like 2 to 3 grams of creatine in it. Our brain actually makes a little bit of creatine. Our liver does too, but to supplement that really saturates the system. It's not harmful for the kidneys. It's been shown. It's not a thing. Like I said, I talked to a guy that's a kidney transplant of one of our patients that takes it. That's the other kind of easy, simple supplement. Let's add it to the system. Let's kind of optimize those things, and then as we move forward and we're getting healthier, and then we're trying to optimize everything. Like there's where your opportunity is like saying, hey, I'm not feeling so great here. Then kind of like let's dig into that. But this is like a jump start. This is like let's start my wellness journey. Let's get my labs. Let's take a look at my metabolic health, and start there and check our nutrition. Start with these supplements. Let's see where it goes. And once you kind of start going, all we're looking for is momentum,
Yep.
right? And it's real hard to start. It's real hard to start. But when you do start and you start to feel better, that's when the momentum really kind of kicks in. That's when you're striving for even better. And you want to achieve more goals going forward. Like, wow, I've surpassed what my goals were ever even thought of being. Now, let's look into what are some of these biohacking scenarios that
Right.
I can really get into. What are these peptides people are talking about here? I know we haven't checked my hormones, but man, my buddy at the gym is really getting after it. And I'm like, I kind of plateaued. I'm kind of fatiguing a lot earlier than he is. Well, let's check hormones. Let's see where you're at. Let's see what's going on there. Let's see if there's opportunity to improve there, to optimize it. You know, and then always going back and you always check more micronutrients and things like that to make sure your B12. A lot of people are deficient in B12s, but if you're taking some of these vitamins and you're eating the right stuff, you're gonna be surprised what all those vitamins end up doing.
Can you tell the listeners what you mentioned to me before we started recording? It was about kind of a very simple way of looking at nutrition and what you should eat,
Oh,
but very difficult to execute on.
just stay away from the boxes and the bags.
Yes.
Man, that if you can steer clear of that, you're winning.
Yes.
You're winning. And it's it's so hard in our culture because first of all, they taste really good. They taste really good, and they're not satisfying. They just taste good. And it's easy. It's easy.
Easy.
You're fine, and you think you're just trying to need to fill a calorie need because you're hungry, or you're feeling kind of down, like fatigued. You think you need like a little energy boost. That's the wrong energy.
Yeah.
And if you can steer clear of that, which is hard, like the our culture has made um health journeys very difficult, as far as we're always on the go, we're always moving, we're always got to get to the next thing, do the next thing, grab this and go. It's just grab and go society. And when you're really trying to focus on these things to improve your health on, you can't grab and go. It's just not going to work out for you. You're not going to get to where you feel the way you want to feel. You may feel better, which is good. To make any kind of progress is good. To make any kind of progress is good, because I really think that progress builds on itself. Like
Well,
once you kind of hit goals, you want to hit the next. You want to get to the next. And I think that's where I am, and what I've done since I've even been here and been I'm learning every day.
yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been in a job profession where I am all in.
Hmm.
I am all in because I feel better. I've seen the changes, and I want more people to know this.
Yeah.
And because I want everybody to be healthy,
Yeah.
I want everybody to feel good. And if and it's just little changes
Yeah.
at first. They seem huge and they seem unattainable at first because it's hard. But then when it becomes, if you get to a point to where everything becomes routine, then it's just what you're doing now. It's just in a different way.
Yeah. I mean,
Like if your routine is to make your coffee in the morning, grab your bagel, and you're out the door. If your routine becomes grab your coffee and your three hard boiled eggs, it's the same thing.
yep.
It's just different. It's just a different thing that you're grabbing, but because you had to prep it.
Yeah, I love that, Bo. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's all about momentum. Getting started is the hardest part, and that's why what you're coaching people through. People that see you in person, plus people who watch you on the show and the Forge. Like it's about how can you. What's the smallest step that I can take today that I'm willing to take today? It could be, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start boiling those eggs and replacing the bagel. It could be, you gave a great vitamin list. We'll list them in the description of this episode. It could be starting with vitamin D with K. I think that's a no-brainer one to start with, and
Yeah.
then
Easy.
just work.
And it's cheap. It's not
Yes,
expensive.
yes,
None of these things that we talked about, I think, supplement wise, are expensive. Creatine's like some of the cheapest stuff you can get
and it
for
lasts
what it
forever.
does for
These
you.
tubs
Yeah.
last forever.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
it's very it's easily readily available, and you can get started at a fairly decent price. Um, what I was going to say, it's like what you were talking about, the momentum, and it's hard. Um, one thing, it was funny. I went to church this last weekend, and they're doing Philippians, and we're at a verse, and it's talking about pressing on.
Mm,
Like no
I
matter
love that.
what, how hard it was, or what you've done in the past, or just press on, move forward.
I love
And
that.
it's like doing any of this stuff. You're gonna fall. You're gonna have a slip or whatever you're trying to do, or it's okay. Just press on, move
Yeah.
forward. I mean, and so I usually don't do this at church, and before he even pointed it out, that those words, I underlined it
Oh,
because I
nice.
was like, this is 100% fitting what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yes. Press
Because I
on.
mean, like yesterday, we ordered pizza. I was like, man, I had a couple pieces, but it's okay. It's okay. Press on, move
Yep.
forward, get back on track, get back on the horse, whatever you want to call it. You fall off the wagon, you get back on, right? Like it's okay to have that. It's okay to, because I think, sorry, we're running too long here. Um, One of the hardest parts also about doing this is socialization, because when you're gathered with people, it's usually around food and drink.
Yep.
And sometimes you've done all these things before. Oh, why isn't so and so doing this?
Right.
But you can't let other people dictate what you do. You can't let them interfere with your goals
Yep.
if they're against what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, is it okay to socialize and have a day or two to do the? Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Now, if some of your labs up here show that it's not fine, then maybe not.
Right. Right.
So again, it's all in different context of where you are health wise, what you want to do, and where do you want to be when you're moving forward. Like, and I think earlier in life is the better, because if you can still always improve as you get older, but there's been a lot more damage done. Like, I'll be 50 next year. There's the damage that's there is worse than when I was 30 if I'd have started.
Sure.
So, it just things to think about.
Man,
I hope we kept it simple enough. I
I
don't know, ran
I
long.
I think no, I think this was perfect. And I think the whole, those two words, press on, like that's the keep it simple, phrase of today's episode. Press on. If you want to, re-listen back to the labs that Bo talked about, talk to your provider. I think we also need to do an episode on how to talk to your provider, how to set
Yeah.
them up to win. Because
Uh,
a lot of times, a patient can really do a good job with their provider and get the most out of that visit, which we
yeah.
want all of our patients to do.
And the
Um,
information is so available,
yeah,
almost don't get bogged down in the weeds.
yeah,
And I think that's why I wanted to do this a little bit, is just say, hey, ask for these things. And remember, the visit is your visit,
yeah,
not theirs. Like, get what you want out of the visit, because like they're your labs. Get what you want.
yeah,
Like, Dr. Rogers kind of has a thing that, uh, for the majority of it, patients deserve the labs that they ask for.
yeah.
And if we're like, well, I don't even know what that means. Like, to make them aware is like, what doctor are you going to take this lab to? I don't really care to order it for you, but it's a plus or minus. Can I interpret the thing or not? So to an extent, there's always a limit there, but these are simple things that most providers should be able to interpret.
Yeah.
There are labs like on the Cleveland panel that we do, and some people come in and are like, "Hey, I want to get a Cleveland. My buddy did it. I want to take a look at my overall health," and it gets into a lot of different scenarios, very particular. Robin did a great video on ApoB and things
Yep.
like that with the cholesterol. It breaks down your DHEAs or yeah, your omega-3s, omega-6s, and all that kind of stuff. It breaks all that down and gets into micronutrients. It tells you a lot of information, And your regular doctor is probably not going to do a Cleveland panel, but we do. But these are things that if you don't want a big panel and you just want to like, hey, I just want to kind of get started on a health journey. I haven't been to the doctor in 20 years, whatever it may be. Like, where do we start? It's a good place to start.
Bo, I love it, man. Keep it simple.
Sorry, got long-winded today. He got me all pumped up.
Guys, we will be back as always next week. This is Keep It Simple with Bo McGregor. Bo, you're the man.
All right, give us some comments. Tell us to dumb it down some if we need to, or like talk a little bit more about that, because we can. If we want to know some more information about things that we talk about, we can dive in a little bit deeper into the weeds. But still, again, just trying to talk in normal terms and trying to get out information that I can understand.
Yep. All right, brother. I appreciate you, man.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Don't go away.